Hey guys, I'm Megan.
And I'm Stephanie, and we are
Barn Besties
with
Farm Fresh advice
for you. So we are here to impart the knowledge that we have learned over the years of building and running barns so that you guys don't have to have the problems and the misery and the mistakes that we made. Hope you enjoy our videos. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, right?
Right, and we hope to save you time and money on your new adventures.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, I'm Megan McIsaac.
And I am Stephanie, and we are
Barn Besties with Farm Fresh advice.
Yep, we're here to talk about the hay storage that I have on my farm. Originally, I had this planned as a lean-to for turnout horses, but never ended up needing it. So I turned this into my hay storage, and it has been fantastic for me. This is basically a lean-to added on to part of my main horse barn, and it is, I believe, I think it's 16 feet deep. I couldn't continue much further because the ground slopes away, and we were going to run into major problems with the roof getting too low. So basically, I just have limestone screenings in here. Originally, I was going to put down like wood pallets and stuff, but honestly, it's too much moving of wood pallets. This barn is about 120 feet long. Wow. And that's a lot of wood pallets to be moving when you're pulling hay off the field. When I first started, I was mainly using small squares and large square bales, but when we decided to plant our own hay, I'm sharecropping with a neighbor. He's got round balers, and honestly, round bales are so much easier for me. I just have to drive the Bobcat. I don't have to get out and honestly move hay. I've got a bad back. So this was an easy thing for me. So I can store quite a bit of hay in here. I do, as you can see, 2 in the back, 2 in the front for each stack, and then we can get 1 on top of each stack. So you can do 5 hay bales per section. So, you know.
Do you have any problems with molding with the lime?
You do get a little bit of on the bottom,
yeah.
But you're gonna get that on round bales anyway.
Yeah.
So it's pretty minimal because it doesn't ever get wet in here.
I love it.
It doesn't ever get wet in here. So, you know, it's mostly dirt.
Yeah.
Dirt, and you know, you're taking my footing away is what they're doing. It's sticking on there, but
yeah.
It's really nice. There's good ventilation. Even with the one bale in here, there's good ventilation. I don't put up wet bales. If we are at all concerned that the bales didn't dry properly, I generally make the neighbor take them because we don't feed anything that's moldy. But if there's an opportunity, it's not going to rain, I will often leave them in the field anyway for a day or two, just to continue to let them cure down and then throw them in. Just because it takes about 30 days for hay to properly cure. So I'd rather let it cure out in the open air than stack them all in here anyway.
I love it. I have, when I was feeding round bales, I did not have hay storage, and so they would all mold on the outside, and so you take the outer layer. So I had a lot of breathing problems. So we have a riding school on high performance horses, and my vet required me to switch to small bales. So we did, and we do have the option of large squares. However, I found the management of large bales just too messy and too dirty within the barn. So, but I think this is awesome. I wish I had storage.
We could quickly talk about, so like I said, I share crop with my neighbor. Basically what it is, it's my land, his equipment for making the hay. He's got 2 different types of round balers. This one is putting on the twine bales, and if we go ahead and walk to the other side of the storage, we do have some bales here that are what are called net wrapped.
I love the net wrap.
So I like the net wrap because if you do have bales that need to be outside, you can turn them on their side, and the net wrapping actually helps repel water. So if you don't have great storage, it's not perfection by any stretch, but it's just a netting. You can kind of see, it's just a plastic netting.
I
really
also find them easier to cut.
Very easy to cut this off.
Just a little
you definitely want to make sure that you get it all out because it is kind of a plastic. You don't want your horses getting this in their mouths. You don't want it getting around their legs. But when I feed my round bales, I use big round bale nets. So they go, it's basically like a large hay net. so it fits a giant round bale in it. That way they can't burrow down in and cause themselves to have breathing problems. They can only eat through the net, and the net just continues to crush in upon itself. So what I do is I get the net started about halfway on the bale. The bale is tipped on the bobcat sphere. I cut all the net wrap off, get it all off, and then the hay bale is in the net. And I'm usually doing that almost right where I'm going to deposit the hay bale, because the more you move it without the net wrap, they're going to unravel.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of work, but honestly it works really well. I really didn't think I was going to like the net wrap, but I've become a pretty big fan of it.
Love it. And I hate to say it, I miss my round bales. It made management of my barn so much easier. Another video will show you how I feed my horses out in the pasture.
Yeah, and I can show you guys the round bale nets very quickly. I have a couple of them in the barn. They're really easy. Megan and I can just pop them open and show you how big they are. But round bales are not for everyone. I wouldn't recommend feeding them without the nets, because the horses do have a tendency to start in the middle, burrow in.
Yep.
And they're getting down in the middle of the bale. They're breathing all the dust.
Yep.
All hay is dusty.
And that's
So-
what I did with mine. I did not have nets. I did have feeders, not the cattle feeders. So
Yeah.
the horse feeders go straight up, whereas
I've
the
got
cattle
those.
feeders,
We'll be showing those.
we'll show you those later. But I don't recommend that either, because we live in Wisconsin. However, if you live somewhere warmer, great. And I also am not handy. It's really important to know what your strengths and weaknesses are. So with those feeders, you had to unscrew them, open them up, and then close them again. And
See, I didn't do it that way.
yeah,
I picked them up with the spears of my
moved them around.
Yeah. So I would move them. I'd place the round bale, and then I'd pick them up, the round bale feeder up with the bobcat, and then drop it over.
she's more talented with the bobcat
So-
than I am.
I mean, it was kind of a pain, but it wasn't that hard to do.
Yeah.
So it was, very helpful. But again, I don't recommend round bales unless you put them in the nets, because you're going to end up having COPD issues,
Yep.
heaves issues with your horses if you don't put them in the nets. I'm a strong believer in nets.
Yeah.
So the other way people do feed these, I've seen people do this. They'll put a round bale on some sort of flatbed trailer, maybe something they're pulling behind a small tractor, and they'll actually unroll it.
Oh, yeah,
They'll
I've
just
seen
feed
that.
it out, slowly unroll it
Yeah.
as they feed it out. Or I've seen a farmer, if you've got like a bit of a hill, they'll cut it loose, flip it on the side, and let it completely unroll going down the hill, and then the horses or the cattle or whatever will eat on it, and there's very little wastage when you do it like that. But you gotta have the right kind of setup and property for
Yeah.
that. So I've definitely seen people do a lot of stuff like that.
Cool.
So definitely I think this is less physical work for humans.
Yeah.
But requires a larger investment in equipment. You need either a tractor, a big tractor that can handle about, depends on the size, 1,000 to 1,500 to 1,800 pounds. The bigger round bales are going to be 6-footers, which is I'm 6 foot tall, so they're going to be about my height. Those are going to be pushing a ton, so you need a really substantial piece of equipment to move those.
Otherwise, you can roll them.
Yeah, you'll
I
tip your tractor over, or
with
you'll
mine-
blow the hose on the loader.
We had a 50 horsepower little utility tractor. I don't recommend. It was too light. So we have little hills kind of going into our pasture. If you hit that wrong, you will
could
start
flip it.
rocking. I personally prefer the Bobcat. I think it can handle the round bales
It's a
much
lower,
better.
lower
Yeah.
gravity. It's meant for hauling that kind of stuff. It's kind of like a different version of a what do they call those things in the forklift? It's like a
Oh,
it's like a farm version of a forklift.
Yeah.
A little more accessible, but yeah. So yep, these are all net wrapped, and you can see the net wrap comes in different colors. You know, it's whatever they add. It's almost like a twine. You know, it's like a plastic twine, but there's so much more of it. It becomes like this net.
Yeah.
So
Love it.
we got dark gray, we got white, we got a little
All
green
in
going
it.
on.
Party time.
And I do feel it keeps these kind of tighter. They're a little more thoroughly wrapped. Sometimes I'll get a twine bale where
Oh yeah, it'll
they-
fall apart.
it'll
Yeah,
fall apart.
It'll
So.
fall apart in the
But
keeping.
again, it's plastic. You really need to be safe. So.
Awesome.
All right.
awesome
Thanks
hay
everybody so
storage.
much. Any other comments on that?
No, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome hay storage stuff. Love
Yeah,
it.
this was meant to be horse I was going to divide the front pasture into two,
Mhm.
and this is going to be where the horses came in, you know, out of the heat, out of the rain and elements and all that. When I decided I already had enough pasture, I didn't need this, we put the front field in hay, and I was like, this is going to be my hay storage.
Yeah.
120 feet of hay storage.
Perfect.
So,
Easy
pretty great.
access.
Yeah, so, all right, thanks everybody so much. We appreciate it. If you got questions or comments, leave them down below, and we'll see y'all on our next video. Bye, everybody.
Bye.